Well, things took a turn that I didn't expect, but I think if we knew a little bit more about Vanica beforehand, it'd be one of those things like, yeah, I can see this happening. But Vanica just not having it. Well, anything to do with their dark disciples, but she seems to take a strong interest in Noelle, which I like. I very much enjoy that the fact that the Dark Triad all have some way, like a interaction connection with the main three cast. We obviously have like Dante doing stuff with Asta, attacking the Black Bulls and whatnot. With Xenon being part of, even though all three of them were related to the death of Yuno's parents and their fall in rule over the Spade Kingdom. I think that obviously the one that he remembers, and it looks like the one that directly killed his father, is Xenon, and Vanica obviously being the one to kill Noelle's mother. I'm very curious to know if Dante, because we saw the brief flashback with Asa of just like assuming that was one of his parents that he had before he went berserk. Maybe it's gonna be like that Dante's the one that killed his parents. I don't know. I don't know that one. That one's a little weird one. I know there's people like speculating that Dante's actually Asta's father. That'd be a really cool one, like Darth Vader style. But as it were, like we get to the chapter, we obviously left off with Noelle just piercing her lance right through Vanica's chest. I like her lance doesn't look like it's holding shape very well. You can tell that she's just trying her best and just pushing forward the utmost she can in order to take her down, even to get in effort for it. But unless there was some form of new trait to her magic, some form of new unlocked ability, or something, or someone is showing up to help, I didn't think that it was going to do anything. Because we already saw her stab her before, it didn't really do much at all. And when it comes to her magic, especially because blood magic, when you look at like Xenon's magic, I imagine he's probably the most durable out of the three because bone enhancements. He's gonna have a very sturdy body. With Dante, assuming what he has is like flesh or cellular magic or something, it would make sense of like you damage him, he's just gonna heal right back up. But with Vanica, with blood, she's gonna like taking damage to her. It's just gonna be useful. Get more blood out. It's kind of like Laxus when he got his red lightning dragon mode. Yeah, more blood, more power to him. He's pretty much a berserker, which that's essentially what Vanica is as well. But even though it was useless, I did really like seeing Noelle's strategy when she gets in or the lance and just as a point blank Sea Dragon's Roar. I thought that was really cool. I like that she was willing to do that, and she had that idea prepped because it's obviously a very big move, but it's a simple one, but it's a very effective one because we know that her Sea Dragon's Roar in general is very powerful, but unfortunately not in relation to Vanica. And I did actually really like what the translation team did because I think I'd have to double check the Raws. I'm pretty sure the Raws just had the red beast spell like within its text box. I like that they made it bigger so it's going over the other text box, so it's kind of like drowning out the effect in a way. I like that a lot. I thought that was really cool, just from like a small little feature in that. And after that point, like Noelle falls, she's pretty much just barely got any water on her at all. She's just got small vicious clothes, keeping her mildly clothed. And what's interesting is like she's got, I think some people probably look at like the situation because all of her water is falling off. She's pretty much naked, but I don't see it as anything kind of like lewd. It's more of like she's in this state. She's pretty much, she's got nothing on her. She has absolutely like if you count her hair ties, and then she's got her book, but she's still like trying to fight. She's not giving up. She's still standing strong. I like that. Well, not literally standing, mentally and like emotionally, she's not giving up. She's trying her best, and like even when like in this situation, it'd be like if Vanica hadn't taken an interest with her, she would have died. Like Noelle would have died here. But even in this situation where she's like has nothing really left to work with, she wasn't gonna cower. She wasn't going to fall in such a pathetic way. Like it would become like, it looked like a weakling. If she was gonna die, she's gonna go out strong. But there was the interesting thing of you see her grimoire getting a new spell, and I think it's either a new spell or the other option I think that most people believe it is, and what the theory is that it's going to be Undine like going into her grimoire. My guess is with Vanica, because of like all the demon power, the devil power, and the curses, that she was pretty much unable to hold all of that, and like maybe she would have to cut connections with Lolo to kind of keep herself alive. We don't know exactly like if the spirits can die or what, but maybe it was something like that. Like I pretty much had to jump bodies in order to not kind of like dissipate or something like that. So that is interesting. I'm hyped to see where that goes, and especially because I've seen some people not like the idea of her getting Undine, but I'm like, what is she gonna do? Because this isn't like she's getting it to go into like, oh yeah, it's the next arc, and we're just gonna be, we're gonna be fighting bad guys, and we're gonna be doing stuff in the Clover Kingdom. It's not like they're going into like the Royal Magic Knights exam, and she's just getting Undine just cause. She's getting ready to fight an extremely powerful character that's easily above like the likes of captains and whatnot. Probably like she'd probably have no problem with Mara Leona. So Noelle getting something like a great spirit is completely fine to me. It just makes sense. It's something that it's obviously a big deal, but she's gonna need that big deal in order to like actually compete and like do anything to this big bad guy. And especially when you look at like and one of the comments is like they don't want her to be like but I'm like, there's 4 spirits. It's not like her having spirit magic is going to be the same as because even when you look at like their abilities, like their magic styles differ immensely, and even like their biggest traits of their magic differ immensely. Like Yuno's very talented, but I think what his biggest thing was like description of how he got like Spirit of Zephyr is like originally he is able to kind of like take small bits of magic used around him that kind of like after the spell goes off, they're in the air, so he can kind of grab that and pull it in and just have like a fast way for magic regen, whereas Noelle has just a large supply of magic in general. She has just a large body of magic that she's able to, have at her expense. So it just makes sense to me of like, okay, yeah, there's differences. They can have like a similar, the similar ability is literally just, yeah, they both have spirits, but really, what would it even do? It's not like she would just be like, hey, Spirit Storm, or like pretty much the same thing. No, it would be Undine's addition to what Noelle can do. So like it would just be like large scale AoE versions of her spells. So like look at her Sea Dragon's Nest and stuff, and her Sea Dragon's Roar. It would just be giant versions of those, which perfectly fine with. My only question would be like, well, actually no, because we know Spirit Magic. Wasn't it? I have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure Spirit Magic is capable of dealing with devils to a degree. I don't think it's the same as Arcane, but it still provides like a level of use. So now like Noelle is, maybe she's gonna get something there. Who knows? Maybe it's a new spell. Maybe it's Undine. Either way, she's got something like new added to her skill set. And I'm hyped to see like how she takes that and utilizes it and what comes next for her. I feel like it's going to be, I feel like it's, in my opinion, I believe it's Undine. And it would be an interesting way to like maybe take her character and make her find out more about her. Maybe find out about past Heart Princesses. Plus, actually, one thing I just want to know, I feel like if she gets them, she's not going to be as big. It's going to kind of be like Salamander, where Salamander was way bigger at one point with Fauna, obviously also smaller with Fauna. I imagine the magic power supply of whoever they're kind of linked to is proportionate to like the level of form they have. The stronger the person is, the stronger they become, and there's also kind of like a default level of skills and abilities and power up that they get just by being synced to them. But after that point, plus it'd be cool, man. Like maybe you could get like Noelle and training together, like Noelle helping get stronger and helping Noelle get like Spirit Dive or something. Plus if she gets Mana Zone, then she's going to be able to drop like Sea Dragon's Roar from multiple directions, which would be good because it's a powerful spell, but easily the weakest thing about it is it's a very linear attack, and she can kind of like manipulate it a bit, but it's still pretty linear. If she could fire it from like above or below somebody while she's moving in from a different direction to attack, that'd be, I think, very useful and a very good addition to her abilities. But because of that, you have Vanica, who's reminded, like, they take interest to it, like I messed that up a little. It's Vanica takes interest to her after noticing that she's got the, something going on with her grimoire, and she asks her name. She tells her name is Noelle Silva, talks about, being a royal member of the Clover Kingdom, as well as a member of the Black Bulls. And Vanica essentially just is like, I have an idea. Because it reminds me of Aesir, somebody that she fought a long time ago. And I like that she remembered, but it was not somebody that's like, oh yeah, I remember. You must be this girl's daughter. It's like, she barely remembered. She, like, doesn't even care enough to have this person, like, embedded into her brain. It's just like, at some point I'll remember this person. They're not that big of a deal. But she decides that, oh, this person is interesting. So what I'll do is she decides that she takes Vanica, she kidnaps Vanica, she's going to bring her to the Heart Kingdom, and she's going to kind of like use her as a hostage in the hopes that Noelle shows up in order to make her, give her motivation to become stronger and show up. And what's funny is I thought of like my idea of what was going to happen was when the sealing magic happened from Narrow. I thought it was going to be that they kind of like seal her and they take her as a hostage, and you get like character interactions like this Hannibal Lecter style with Vanica, which I still think would have been really cool. But maybe we'll get kind of like weird torture scenes with Lolo and Vanica. Maybe some darker stuff there with those interactions. But now they're just kind of getting ready to leave, and she's like, all right, we're getting ready to head back to the Heart Kingdom, or sorry, the Spade Kingdom. And you have the Dark Disciple, like the Tone one that was fighting Mimosa, and good on Mimosa for like actually like holding her own against this guy. I mean, this guy is, we never saw anything crazy with this magic. We never saw any like crazy OP-ness. It just is kind of weird. It's powerful, but nothing absurd that we can't really look at and be like, oh wow, this is how she's gonna get around to this. It's just like, yeah, it's just kind of a weird, tricky magic in some aspects. But Vanica's just like, actually, you know what? You guys are weird, and I don't really feel like I need you around. And then detonates the devil power inside them, goes all like Cell and Cell style, bloats them up, gets ready to pop, and just causes these massive explosions all around the Heart Kingdom where each of them are at. So one thing I'm wondering when it comes to that is how they're gonna be alive. I don't think any of those guys are gonna be dead, because like, what is it? It's Charmy, Mimosa, Luck, Leo, and Gaja. Gaja definitely isn't gonna die. I mean, Gaja can tank that just fine. That I believe. I think Gaja can take it and just be damaged, but not dead. The other characters, I'm wondering, like, are they going to, how are they going to live? How are they going to survive? Maybe it'll be like they take it, but they're in critical condition and they're pretty much out for a while, kind of like situation, or they're heavily damaged. Not dead, but it's like, yeah, you guys aren't going to be fighting for a while. I don't think any of them are dead. That'd be really weird to kill off any of these characters, like, in such a not big way. Like, if it was like some huge character send out, sure, but as much as it'd be weird to kill off a character like any of these guys at this point in the story, it would make more sense. It's one of those ones that's like, it would be confusing to kill off like a character like this. It's not like it's one of the Spirit Guardians, like one of the side ones, because these guys are mostly Black Bulls, and so I don't know. It'd be very weird to do that. Well, is it mostly Black Bulls? Because like, well, no, because Mimosa's Golden Dawn, Gaja's Heart Kingdom, and Luck is Crimson Lions. Out of the five, there's more. I guess out of the five, there's more Black Bulls than there are any other singular group. Anyway, other than that, though, like that fight kind of like is pretty much wrapped up. And the only one we have left is the big one with Dante and Yami, who Yami gets another slash on Dante. Dante heals back up, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to actually show you my true power. So Dante, I think a lot of people knew already that Dante wasn't serious. Dante wasn't fighting too serious yet. He seems to be, he's a very playful kind of guy, and that's like his thing. Like, you have Xenon, who's either kind of chill or he's like straight for brutality. You have Vanica, who's like a sadistic predator when she's fighting. And you have Dante, who seems very playful. He seems like he's a fun psycho. He's going to be messing around until it's time to really go at it. And when he goes at it, he's going to get a little vicious, like just absolutely probably pop off. So that I'm pretty hyped for. And one thing I noticed that I think makes Dante more interesting, and I think also Dante is the strongest. I know some people think it's Vanica, some people think it's Xenon. I think it's Dante, and the fact that we're getting Dante as the last, really, his fight is ending last, on top of clearly being the leader of the dark triad, as well as seemingly having the most important devil out of the three, at least that we can tell, because Lucifero, he seems also the most knowledgeable, and I'm guessing he's going to be the biggest deal, is that I talked about before, because if you've read Tabata's previous work, Hungry Joker, the main character's power was gravity manipulation, and his kind of enemy rival had this, his was like this radiation power where he can mutate himself, and so he could like mess with his body all the time, and that's seemingly what Dante's other magic is. I'm pretty sure Dante's main magic is like that flesh, DNA, cellular kind of magic, and then the gravity magic is Lucifero's magic, which again would make sense because we know siblings, blood siblings, have magic similar to each other. They don't have to have the exact same one, but it's something that you can look at and be like, oh yeah, these relate. As well as the gravity magic having like stuff like, you know, Demon King's presence and whatnot. So it'd be like, yeah, that's probably Lucifero's. But if he's got both of those, like if it's guaranteed, like if it's straight stated, like it's cellular flesh magic or something, I think that'd be really interesting because it'd be the main character and the rival of Tabata's previous work having, you know, having powers along with this character. You know what I mean? It just would be a really cool kind of twist to do. I think that's one thing to really note when it comes to Dante's position in the series right now and Dante's kind of like spot as a character. So we'll see that coming up, and Yami's getting ready to fight him. I don't know, I think Dante's definitely going to be the strongest. And plus he's, like, when you look at the pairings, if you look at the pairings, you have, I'd guess with Xenon it would probably be Yuno and William. I would assume William. With Noelle, it'll either be Noelle and Noelle or like a rematch. Well, if she has Undine, it wouldn't be Lolo, because Lolo obviously with Undine, it wouldn't, like, you can't have two Undines. It would be either on Noelle or on Lolo. So I would guess it'd probably be Noelle, which would make more sense to me personally, just because it would have in relations to their mother. So I'm pretty hyped to see that one. And then, but obviously, if you see Dante, you have Asta and Yami. You have literally the main character and his kind of like mentor guy, who is like literally the top two like most popular characters in the series. I don't know. So to me, it would just make sense of it being him being the strongest, because obviously he's the main one too. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue that Dante's not going to be the main like bad guy, at least out of the three, unless there's somebody else that shows up, like some other big shot devil that's revealed to be above them. So we'll see that there. I'm pretty hyped to see where this kind of goes next. I'm very much interested in what's to come in the story, and we're getting to the end of the fight, like the Dark Triad kind of like exhibition fights, because that's all these really were. I mean, obviously there were stories stuff behind them, but the Dark Disciple or Dark Triad all came out so we could see what they're capable of. We could see all of what the end area is for this arc for each of the main cast members and who they're going to be up against. And Dante being the last one. Like after this point, I'm hoping we get. I'm hoping the Dark Triad can go back and we'll get them kind of like doing their own thing for a while, maybe getting some stuff in the background, not as much of just straight fights. And fingers crossed, getting some Dark Disciples that are actually noteworthy and memorable. Because I mean, it's alright right now, because I think the major purpose has been, like I said, showing the Dark Triad, getting them kind of just like set up and on a pedestal so we know what we're dealing with. And then all I ask after that point is a couple. It doesn't have to be 10. It could literally could be one Dark Disciple for each Dark Triad that's memorable. That's like a mid-boss for Asta, Noelle, and Yuno. Somebody that's like literally in the middle of the arc that they beat and defeat or something. And maybe like one of them can like win over and help them, and maybe you could do some stuff on that. Like it'd be really cool to have like each of them have a Dark Disciple who is not evil, but it's more of they think that, they should be fighting for the spade. It's more of a perspective thing. Because, like, the Dark Triad all come off very evil. They're all definitely crazy. But if you have some people that instead they're like, oh, no, we fight for the spade because it's our kingdom. And it's more of, like, in a way to them, that without them knowing, like, maybe they don't know about the whole big demon apocalypse that they want to have happen. And to them, it's like, oh, no, it's a war between kingdoms. So it's more of a perspective thing. And then maybe eventually they could find out, our leaders are trying to pretty much end humanity. We should probably join in the aid to stop them. I think that'd be really cool too, and it would be able to add a good extra layer to the Spade Kingdom. So interesting stuff coming up. I'm pretty hyped. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the official name of what Dante's other magic is. Because it has to be his main one. It has to be his main one. And I like that if it's his main one, that he, like, the one he was born with, that he doesn't use that one primarily. Because, like, he doesn't like it. So if you obviously you have the other two, like, they use their birth magic, blood and bone, and then they have their devil magic as, like, a extra, like, oh yeah, I gotta pull this one out, where Dante, it's the opposite, which I think is really neat on his part. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate how many are subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.